Hello all, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you. This is Timothy Halloran. I am an astrologer located in Savannah, Georgia, and you can purchase astrology readings from me at my website below. This video is a full moon offering, a full moon sharing, and I'm going to make a quick announcement before we get into the astrology of this full moon and of mid-June by announcing my first workshop is going to be on July 1st. It's going to be an online workshop. It will also be recorded, and it's going to be on the moon. We're going to be learning about how I make these videos, how to use astrology, but not only in the left brain learning, studying, linear type of way, but also how to apply these tools and these techniques into your day-to-day life, so that way you can learn astrology in a direct and experiential way. So I'll talk more about that at the end of this video, but wanted to announce that workshop July 1st. Let's get into June, and I may need to move a little quickly because I forgot bug spray, which is never a good thing, here in Savannah just after it rained. So there is a lot that's shifting around this week. We have 3 planets changing signs, we have 2 planets changing direction this next week, and we have this very powerful full moon this Friday, June 9th. Today is Tuesday, June 6th. So let's just begin what's brought us into this week. Because this week could have, in many respects, began with some unpredictability. It can begin almost with the sense of having the wind knocked out of us. There's been a lot of this Mars square to Chiron opposite to Saturn tension that was going on the end of last week and this last weekend. And then Mars just moved into Cancer this last Sunday. Now, Mars in Cancer gets a reputation, and astrologers use these terms such as fall and exaltation, so on and so forth, and sometimes people get too hung up on those terms because I have a lot of clients that come in for readings who have actually been very damaged by astrologers saying, oh, well, your planet's in this sign and it means that, and it means you're stuck with this. So Mars in his fall in Cancer can denote a frustration because Mars is a planet that likes to do so much, initiate so much, be very direct, be very powerful and macho-like, and Cancer is the antithesis of this in many respects. The mother, the nurturer, the caretaker, the home, having to do with emotions and our inner core rather than external business. And so very generally, when Mars moves into Cancer, there can be this slowing down, or there can be a need for slowing down that is not easily matched by our world's expectations and obligations, which can lead to burning out, getting exhausted, frustration, so on and so forth. This is what we've been going through the last several days, if not the last week, as Mars has squared Chiron and then pushed into Cancer. Now, over this last weekend, Venus also passed Uranus in Aries, which is a restlessness, a desire to break out. Let's do things differently. There can be freedom urges with Venus in Uranus in Aries. And so, again, this inner-outer frustration between our own desire to break free, to let the cat out of the bag, versus do we have the energy, the time, or the freedom, the room in our actual structured life to be able to do so, is still some of the challenge that we can see going on these next couple weeks, as next it will be the Sun to oppose Saturn and then square Chiron the 15th through the 19th. Happy birthday to me. I'll celebrate this year by going to the local prison or penitentiary. No, I'm just kidding. So Mars moved into Cancer on Sunday. Today, Mercury enters Gemini, Venus enters Taurus. Now this is very nice because Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, Venus rules the sign of Taurus. There can be this kind of coming into our own, finding the rituals, the routines, and what we're going to talk about with this full moon is our truth, our philosophy, our orientation to life, is what we're really having the opportunity to rectify and restructure at this time. Now Mercury in Gemini is very happy there, very fast-paced, very quick-witted. This is a time where there's much that we can be exploring and learning about that can be very exciting, and there can be almost the desire to go out there and do so many things and sign up for so many things. But with Mars in Cancer and Venus having just entered Taurus, there is also this very important need to slow down. Venus in Taurus, where she'll be through the next, several weeks, is really about coming into our own. It's really about laying this foundation down and this creation of spaciousness, like how each of us are each our own universe. There is this opportunity to create this bubble of spaciousness really within us. But Venus is the planet of magnetism, attraction, repulsion, this relationship between us and other people. And so Venus also becomes reflected in our immediate environment. And so we're trying to hone it down, create bubbles in our own inner universe as well as our immediate environment. And there is a slowing down, a natural desire to slow down, to come into our bodies, to come into our senses, to feel our way through the motions of life, which can be a challenge when it comes to our everyday lives, our schedules, our routines, our jobs, our expectations and obligations. And so much of this freedom urge of Venus conjoining Uranus in Aries has been this upsetting at the beginning of this week. This also could have been people coming into our lives, old people that are bringing up new perspectives or unpredictable, unsettling circumstances, new people coming up that are introducing totally new possibilities and ways of looking at things. And this is part of the revision and the evolution which will ultimately really come into our personal truth, orientation to life, philosophy, and how we are sharing those things with others. And much of these themes are very much caricatured by this full moon on Friday, June 9th. This full moon is at 18 degrees and 53 minutes of Sagittarius. Will be conjoined Saturn, black Moon Lilith, square to Neptune, and opposite to asteroid Ceres. If that's not enough, we also have the ruler of this full moon, which, falling in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius, is ruled by Jupiter. Well, Jupiter at 13 degrees of Libra is stationing direct on the day of this full moon. And so there's a very powerful relationship between what we are feeling and how we are seeing and exploring and perceiving our truth, our world, and our life. And there is certainly the opportunity to really revise and adjust our own relationship to our truth, our life, our own relationship to other people, with Jupiter being in the sign of Libra, having much to do with our relationships, who we're connecting with, who we're sharing with, and also our relationship to our goals, our direction, our purpose, which is again very much linked to our truth and our philosophy. And so this is a powerful full moon, and I don't use that lightly. I don't say every supermoon is a powerful full moon. Well, this is a powerful full moon, even though it's not a supermoon. We have the Sun in a quincunx to Pluto on the day of our full moon. Jupiter's stationed, and Jupiter is in a quincunx formation to Neptune. Neptune is also stationing retrograde these weeks, and on June 16th will station retrograde at 14 degrees of Pisces. Now this is really bringing up a very interesting dynamic, because on one hand, we are really feeling called to structure our truth, to make it real, to bring it into the world, to make it function and work in 3 dimensions, with this full moon being conjoined Saturn. And Saturn himself, being in Sagittarius, is really this work to have to find our truth. There is discernment that is required here, and part of this discernment is separating our truth versus the prescribed truths, orientations, duties, and expectations of other people, of the community, of our world, of our culture, of the traditions that we were born and raised in, so on and so forth. And so there's this real desire for us to really come into being our own authorities of our own truth with this full moon in Sag with Saturn. And yet this full moon being square to Neptune, and with Neptune being quincunx to Jupiter especially, there is also a high degree of uncertainty in this endeavor. And so it's as if we are exploring this endeavor right now. We are having to do adjustments, rectification, trial and error to see how are we bringing our truth into structure. How are we connecting and sharing with others? And is that working in such a way to actually bring us into what our goals are? What do we actually envision? And with the Neptune in Pisces in conjunct to Jupiter in Libra, we have to be aware that this is a process that does require our work, that does require our awareness, that does require our participation. And it's not merely about envisioning the future or about setting the goals without doing the actual work, or just imagining, or just believing, or just getting into a type of disconnected or discombobulated truth that is severed from reality or reaching other people. There's really a balance which we are being called to actualize right now, with Jupiter stationing direct in Libra, ruled by Venus, who enters Taurus today. Jupiter in Libra throughout October of this year, before he moves into Scorpio, is really about connecting with others. It's about finding our soul's tribe. And that's important to understand, that who our tribe is, who our relationships is, who the communities and those we are connecting with, doesn't have to be everybody. It's almost with the Neptune-Jupiter quincunx, there can be a need or a desire for all-inclusiveness that, though it is in a good intended and loving place, it's coming from a good intended loving place, that may not necessarily work in the real world practically and physically. We can't be everybody's best friend. And so part of Venus in Taurus is, again, the really coming into what it is that we value. Man, there's so many mosquitoes. I value comfort with my own Venus being in Taurus. And it's important for me, speaking personally, to go at my own pace, which tends to be slower, so that way I can contribute what I value in a way that is comfortable for me. That way I can offer what I consider quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. And so Mercury and Gemini may want to sign up for this, want to share this, and it's important for us to hone in on, is this really reflecting what I want and value in a way that makes me feel comfortable and is anchoring this sense of stability and peacefulness into my immediate environment, my body, my temple, my life. These revisions and rectifications we are making to our truth, to authorities, to other people, is for us to really connect with that sense of stability and purpose within ourselves that feels good. And so this is something that's important, because we tend to, because of the pressures and conditionings from our culture, to oversell or to just go along with what the authorities or the organizations are saying. And it's very important with this full moon in Sagittarius conjoined both Saturn and Black Moon Lilith, that we are not simply signing up for truths just because the authorities say it's true. Because what that is a level of inauthenticity that may not respect and honor our own needs, Venus and Taurus. Mars in Cancer also says, hey, we need to go at a pace that is pointing a life and a way of using our energy and willpower physically that actually honors our own emotional needs. This is why Mars gets such a bad reputation in Cancer, because it's considered negative to have to pay attention to those things. And yet Mars in Cancer can also be the doormat syndrome, where we're just giving away and selling our own desires, willpower, physical exuberance to others and other people's needs. And so there's this, again, Mars in Cancers, let's find our tribe, let's find our family so we can work and use our energy in such a way to honor how we actually feel inwardly. And not just, oh, well, this is my truth because it's, you know, Ptolemy said it. Or this is my truth because Jesus said it. Or this is my truth because the priest said it. Or this is my truth because this great astrologer said it. Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius is overthrow all of the expectations and obligations put on us that have limited our own sense of life being that of exploration. Black Moon Lilith in Sag is be free. Let the cat out of the bag. And this is how we come into an authentic sense of personal truth. A lot of times people think, because again of the cultural pressure, that we have to sign up for a truth. This is my religion. This is my truth. And you know, the negative shadow of Sagittarius and Jupiter is crusadum. This is my truth. You know, a really great way to lose connection with everybody is to post on Facebook once a day things that are only true to you. This is my favorite book. This is my favorite teacher. And it's only this book. And it's only this teacher. And these are my guides. These are my guides. This is a way of not really being able to reach people, because we're focusing on an unbudging truth. And this is actually the antithesis of what Jupiter in Sag is, which is why it's the shadow. Jupiter in Sag is the truth is always expanding. This journey of exploration is always expanding. We know truth, but that truth is expanding, and therefore it's not set in stone. We may have higher and higher perspectives of truth granted to us, which means that our perspective in what is true may change as our awareness grows. I thought that everything was dark and I was just seeing the edge of a dark cloud. And now that my consciousness, my perspective is expanding, I can see more, and there is more to life. There is more to reality than just this. So yes, you may have a religion, you may have guides, you may have personal practices, but when we hyper-focus and hyper-crusade and brashfully broadcast onto everybody what these things are in a one-size-fits-all, this is the truth in an unbudging way, well, this is how not only do we lose our own authentic truth, we lose our connectivity to other people. This is not what being a teacher is or how it should be done. This is how it is, blah, 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 learn this, and then pass this test. Real teachers say, this is the truth, take it, explore with it. Let it develop into your own exploration. Cultivate this truth and let it grow roots and fruits for you. And that's like what this moon workshop is. I'm going to be giving information and tools and techniques, but then use it in your own way to come into your own sense of harmony with life. This is Jupiter in Libra. We have the opportunity to come into a greater sense of connectivity and harmony with others. But that requires us really refining what it is that we value and what our true goals are, largely coming from the inside out. And so another example of this is that's all pervasive in our world is for example, in the astrologer world, there's astrologer communities and there's astrologer conventions, and it's really like this with any hobby, any career, whether you be an artist, a photographer, an engineer, there's always these types of things. But then people group together, and what actually happens? Is it a group coming together to actually explore what it is that they value and evolve that and make it better and change? Or is it a bunch of people coming together out of insecurity, in order to give each other pats on the back, in order to feel special and give each other rewards for this community. And what is actually happening? Is it actually useful? Is it actually developing what it is that you all share and value? Is it taking it into the future? Is it improving the state and quality of your lives and how you're sharing? And it could be. Many of these astrology conventions and groups are, and many of them are not. Many of them are actually a way of getting away from our truth, because look, there's the prestigious person on the front, and I now feel pressure to do what they're teaching or to follow their modality or their technique, and that can actually confuse what is our truth and our technique. And so part of this Saturn in Sagittarius is going to be, what is our truth? What is needed in the world? What perspective is going to orientate us into a sense of exploration and contributing in a way that feels good? Jupiter can be charity. Jupiter in traditional astrology rules Pisces. Unconditional love, spirituality, charity, giving in a way that creates that sense of expansion. Giving in a way that makes us feel filled up, like we're not being depleted and we're not losing. We're not sacrificing. We're not sacrificing to the other, to the culture, to the expectation. This is about honing our perspective and truth to make it really work. So that way we can share our gifts in a way that makes us simultaneously feel good. And so this full moon is opposite to Ceres. Ceres is a very Cancer-like lunar asteroid herself, she being the mother asteroid. Considered a minor planet by astronomers, very big, spherical, basically planet in the asteroid belt, and she's the principle of nourishment and nurturance. How we fill our glass up is Ceres in the birth chart and astrology. And Ceres has just entered and is now transiting the sign of Gemini, which is about us still connecting with groups that make us feel good, connecting with souls that feels this tribal, intimate, family-oriented closeness based around what we like to share and what interests us. Ceres in Gemini is nurturing ourselves by sharing what we ourselves are interested in order to spark interesting conversations, in order for our curiosity to lead us into forming new connections that feel safe, that feel like, okay, we get to share and celebrate and be all that we are without self-sacrificing. The Saturn-Ceres, Moon-Ceres opposition is saying this is a challenge of not self-sacrificing, but also making things work. This is easier said than done, you know. Maybe we want to be a singer and just go on stage with the microphone. And that's what really feels good to us internally. And that's the type of sharing that when we share that, it uplifts other people, and then they celebrate us, they feel good about what we're sharing and honor that, and then that makes us feel good. But maybe taking center stage and picking up a microphone isn't working practically. Maybe that's not bringing in an income. Maybe there's not a generator involved that's bringing the right people or the right environment in order to do that sharing has not formed yet. And this is an initiation. This is saying, how are we going to bring that thing which we value and we want to share into our life and make it work? And this can be the seesawing. Maybe I do have to do another job in order to create the time and the flexibility to have the freedom to sing. And maybe it's important that I sing and that I produce my album and put myself out there first without being weighed down by the expectations of the world and the scary numbers on the bill, so I can create that album and create some income. That way I can feel confident being my own authority in what I am doing and what I am sharing with the world. This full moon joins Saturn in Sagittarius is the invitation for us to come into our own sense of stability from inside out. So we are not confiscating and sacrificing ourselves to the expectations, the obligations, the authorities, the worldly challenges of our life. And not throw them away either. Not throw away the challenge that is inviting us to make it work. Not throwing away the connections that are bringing in opportunities for us. But not sacrificing ourselves to connections that don't fully, truly honor or respect your own nurturance needs or your own comfort. We don't want to be so absorbed into our comfort zone that we're never evolving and never progressing and never making changes. That is too far in being stuck. And yet Venus in Taurus says we can revere and honor our comfort zone in a way to make us feel more capable, to fill up our glass by doing and sharing things that feel good to us and are comfortable to us. This is what we value. Venus in Taurus is honing in on our values. That way we can structure it, that way we can anchor it into our immediate environment and life. Jupiter stationing at 13 degrees of Libra is an opportunity for us to connect with new faces and new circles who honor and value those same things that we do. That way, full moon in Sagittarius with Saturn and black moon Lilith, we have the opportunity to structure and lay new foundations in our life that honors our truth. That way, we get to continue to explore with the sense of exuberance, the sense of this feels good to do this exploration. My sharing and my truth is not a chore. This is what I enjoy to do. This is what I enjoy to share. This is what I enjoy to write about, research about, commit myself to. And so these doorways are opening up, and we're making these initial steps. That way we can figure out how to best create this crew for our ship, and the ship is Sagittarius, and we want to raise the flag and sail forward. And yet with Jupiter quincunx to Neptune, where are we going may not be totally known to us. And Neptune is stationing retrograde on June 19th. And when Neptune stations retrograde, it's as if the fog can start to clear a little bit. And so this challenge and this friction and this uncertainty will be here for the next several weeks. Next month, with these planets both being stationed quincunx to each other, the 150-degree aspect, which doesn't really give us a settling down in terms of, okay, here's the perfect solution, here's the perfect one-way goal. This is about figuring out who do we want to have on the ship with us. That way when we set sail and things may get a little stressful and we have to recalculate and we have to reroute our direction, we'll be with people that we love to do it with. And it won't feel like a chore, and it won't feel like a burden, and it won't cost us all of our energy so we feel drained and then we're just left out there in the middle of the ocean with nothing to go off of. And so here is the opportunity for us to create this crew and this ship. And we have an idea of what we all value, what we all like, but then we get to explore these things together. Let this ship take off and let it see where things are going to lead through trial and error and experimentation and exploration. And that type of openness, that embracing of the imperfection of life as being an opportunity for us to always learn and grow, gifts us the reality that life is an opportunity that invites eternal expansion. How can we bring more abundance into our life emotionally and physically? How can we bring that sense of being a child at play into our work as we do the works and overcome the obstacles? And so there's a lot of challenge and a lot of friction and a lot of uncertainty in this. But there's also a lot of opportunity for us to really explore these things and go a long distance in a short way. And so I'm wishing absolutely all the best to you for this full moon. And I should be talking to you next before our summer solstice, when the sun moves into Cancer on June 21st. I am very, very happy to be offering readings once again to all clients. I'm on a new calendar. I'm on a new scheduling system. It's working very smooth and very easy, and it's wonderful and lovely. I'm doing all of my meetings through Zoom video now, which tends to be a little bit smoother than Skype. And so you can always sign up for a reading from me at my website below. Again, Moon Workshop. Go to the website, sign up. I have 50, there's room for 50 people in this workshop. It's also going to be recorded if you can't attend it. And we're talking about basically how do you do what goes into videos like these? How can you do it yourself? How can you track your own new and full moons? But not only that, bring it into your day-to-day life so you are actually experiencing, living, and feeling these transits and get to learn astrology in a first-hand way. And the other quick announcement is I now have an online store, and in that store, my first workshop that is available is on the asteroid Lucifer. If anyone's interested in transcribing that Lucifer workshop in order to get the workshop for free, I'd be very interested in setting up some type of trades for that as well. And so, we're all trying to figure out how to make this stuff work. It's all part of my own exploration as well, and it's such a wonderful gift to be able to share these things and connect these things with you guys, with you souls. You know, you are my crew. We're on the boat together, and so where things take us from here is a collaboration, and I love hearing back from you guys as well. So thank you so much for this mutual exchange, and I look forward to connecting with you next time. Wishing all the best. Take care.